Meanwhile, at a nearby primary school, Natalie Taylor, a visiting advanced skills textiles teacher, is about to hold a special lesson.
This afternoon, the children are going to be printing onto pizza, calico pizza slices, and that's going to be made into an installation at the Bradley Stoke Community School in the dining hall.
It's an activity designed to help pupils with the transition to their new school.
They'll remember when they did it, and they'll perhaps remember the friends that were around them when they did it, and it's all part and parcel of them growing up and moving to the new school, and their independence, really.
I just think when I'm sat there with my friends and eating lunch, I'll just be thinking when I look up at it and proud that I did that.
Probably won't tell anybody it's mine, in case they laugh at it or something.
Seven weeks later, and on time, the building is finished and ready to be handed over. In a brief ceremony, Dave receives the keys from the builders, and the task of moving in can begin. The staff have no regrets at leaving their temporary offices.
I do feel really excited. You know, it's been a long wait to get to this point. A certain amount of trepidation as well, because, you know, we've done a lot of talking about this, but it hasn't actually happened yet. But yeah, just really looking forward to getting stuck into it and being on site and being in our school. The laptops I want to move, obviously, and the other key equipment that we need as quickly as possible is all the tea and coffee and the cups, so I'm moving those as well.
As well as clearing out the office from the primary school, lots of new equipment is also arriving from the manufacturers. And for the first time, Dave has a space where all the staff can meet. Today they have a busy agenda, starting off with a brainstorming session on how they envisage the ethos and vision of the school.
That they get, like, thinking skills for them for the future. It's not
both practical.
Set the educational trends.
If one person can just sort of give an overview of the sorts of things that they've come up with, just so that we start to share this whole vision and these ideas.
We had community at the centre of what we were thinking, and we had loads of different ideas. Striving for excellence, high expectations, high standards were kind of things that were underlined. And then we had English on our side and went for 3 C's. No, 5 C's. We didn't have maths on our side. Community, compassion, creativity, committed and confident for the 21st century.
Yeah, again, we had first thing we had down was community. Things specifically talking from my role, working with the primary schools in Bradley Stoke. Developing links, both abroad and within the community, maybe doing joint foreign languages tours, sports tours, skiing, anything to really enrich these people.
Something that I think should underpin everything was trust. That was the first thing I wrote down. If there's no trust between members of staff and pupils, and likewise, then sort of nothing can develop and take place.
We did quite a lot of thinking about being articulate, being able to contribute, and being literate in lots of different ways, so technologically literate, emotionally literate.
Lovely. Right. Dave, do you want to take that any further, or are we happy to kind of leave that as...
I think we'll leave it there and we'll come back to it, but if I could have the pieces of paper, that would be lovely, please, and then we'll kind of collate that and take that the next step next time we're together.
For the rest of the day, the staff hammer out issues such as ways to personalise learning, encouraging pupils to get involved, cross-curricular teaching, and in particular, a behaviour policy.
This has come from the students specifically, who at Student Council really wanted to know where certain lines for certain behaviours would be and what would happen to them or to other people. They said with a little gleam in their eye, what would happen to other people if they hadn't had it in their homework or if they hadn't done particular things that they should have done, or they spoke back to the teacher.
Surely that goes from the same category as a racist comment, really.
Yeah.
So in that respect, it should be dealt with in exactly the same way.
It's teaching them actually the term gay is a homophobic comment, not just a term to describe how they feel about something.
We've got a draft behaviour policy that will be in operation in September that we've worked on with staff as well as students, and that will contribute towards the ethos.
At the bottom, and the spare one you put in. If you think that there's
a big emphasis on rewards, recognising achievement, improvement, effort, as well as on sanctions.
It's the last week of the summer term, and across the city, James Goodman, the maths teacher, is getting ready to leave his old job. But first, he calls on his sixth form students for some advice.
Good afternoon. Kind of looking back on your maths education, obviously I'm just going to be teaching year 7s, but what have been the really good things about kind of your maths lessons here at Kingsfield that you think those things Mr Goodman should really make sure are part of Bradley Stoke Community School?
Definitely, now we're in the sixth form where we're all working together, it's letting us all contribute all of our qualities and solve a problem or get through an exercise, and we're all adding different
It's very
things.
sad, really.
I think that really helps.
I've built up quite a kind of rapport with them and with their parents as well, and got to know their parents kind of over 4 or 5 years, and taught some of their brothers and sisters as well. And it's going to be, a heart-wrenching time leaving, particularly not teaching that age group again for at least 5 years. I'm really looking forward to going to the new school. Moving there, I'll be the only maths teacher, which would be odd in itself, but actually to then work cross-curricular with all these other subjects would be great.
While James packs up and leaves behind his students and colleagues at Kingsfield, Edward too is preparing to leave his school, hanging up his uniform for the last time.
Well, it's going to be sad because a lot of my friends aren't actually going to the new school. But, I mean, it'll be okay because I'm sure I'll make lots of new friends. On the last day of school, we take in our shirts and everybody writes their names on them so that we remember them from our old schools. So, like, when I am in secondary school, if I just look at my old shirt, I'll be able to remember all the people who went to my old school. How are you? Good, hi.
And today is Edward's first chance to meet new friends at a school induction event organised by the staff and governors.
I think, we're very clear that we are here at the heart of the community and want to be here for the community, and I would say that that's reflected already in terms of the number of organisations within the community who want to be part of the school in different ways, whether it's just accessing facilities, but also providing additional enrichment opportunities for the students.
As preparations progress steadily through the summer holidays, Dave can take some time out and reflect on the last year.
I'm sure there'll be things over the next few weeks that we'll think, oh my God, if only we thought of that. I mean, it's inevitable that things will happen, but at this point I think, well, actually we couldn't have done things very differently, and let's wait and see.
It's 4 days to go before the opening of the new school, and the teachers are busy with last-minute preparations.
I've got some things to still sort out, but basically I've got all my lesson in place for period 4, when I'm going to be starting teaching. So yeah, it's coming along, it's all together. I'm glad I've got still the weekend.
And the science department have their hands full sorting out the new equipment.
We're still waiting for the Bunsen burners. I think they might have been delivered to the DT department, hopefully. So we should be able to get those, because I want to use them next week, so the children use the Bunsen burners straight away when they arrive. But most things, we seem to have got most things, actually. We've got the essential things, haven't we? Exercise books. Oh, we haven't got textbooks yet, which are quite important. So we're trying to chase those up. Hopefully they'll be here on Monday.
Having had the summer holidays, it's always kind of slightly kind of nervous going back. But we'll be ready. It'll be good to get the students in and sitting down, and then everything starts happening.
I'm quite looking forward to looking at how to encourage literacy across all subjects. As part of my role as an English teacher as well, we're going to get lots of children in local primaries involved in reading projects. I'm quite keen to get some dads in, maybe grandparents in and things like that, reading to their children, hearing their children read, just to kind of encourage how important reading is, really.
While the teachers are busy setting up their classrooms, the pupils are picking up their school uniforms, locker keys and cashless catering cards, which are designed to be linked to the computer system. The wireless network installed at the school will play an important part in future learning developments.
We thought long and hard about where we would be as a staff in 3 years, 5 years, even this year, in the terms that we want to be able to access the infrastructure and the service from home. So we've built into the solution remote access, so that next year when we look at virtual learning environments and when we expand that way, students, staff, parents and other stakeholders in the school will be able to dial in, will be able to use a virtual learning environment, explore that, link into the intranet and our extranet. So the potential is huge for the future.
The first day of school has finally arrived. There is a buzz of excitement and trepidation amongst the staff and pupils.
How lucky are we to be here today? I know you have been thinking about this for a long time, and certainly I and some of the members of staff have been thinking about today and wondering what it would be like and just imagining these moments, and it is absolutely fantastic to see you all looking so wonderful this morning. It's quite an interesting thought about how many of you have been involved in planning for today. Can you give me a show of hands if you were involved in any way in any of the interviews for any of the teaching staff? Because I think most of you are involved in that in some way. So lots of you have been involved in helping us make the decisions. And that's the way that we want it to be over the coming months, that you will be involved in making decisions and you'll be at the centre of everything that goes on within the school.
And I'm Keely.
Well done. Keely. Okay.
This is Mr. Goodman, this is Curtis, this is Michelle, this is Abby, and this is Keely, and I'm Josh.
How many names will have been said in total by the time we finish?
Très bien. Excellent. So, what have you learned today in terms of learning a language? Oui? Okay. Do you remember some words I've said and maybe you recorded them and you remember them? Oui, madame.
I think it's a good feeling. Tired staff at the end of the day, probably tired children getting back into routine. You know, we'll see how it goes tomorrow, but I don't think there were any of them who were thinking at the end of the day, oh, I'm not coming back tomorrow.
Yeah, it's really good. It's nice to get to know other people. I wanted to stay really, but then I always knew that I'm coming back tomorrow. I was really scared to begin with, but once I found where I was going, I was really fine and it was really good.
Teachers were all really nice. Our teachers that we had, they didn't give us any homework, so that's good.